Hello everyone, my name is Katie Carson. I am the Duchess of Suds here at Royalty Soaps, and welcome to the most requested stone soap ever. I put this one off for a really long time because Opal is hard to do. It's normally sort of a translucent color. It's got flecks of beautiful shimmery rainbows in there, and that's really hard to do whenever your component, your soap, is opaque. It's not clear. However, I finally thought of a way, I guess, to represent Opal. It's not the perfect rendition, but it is at least representative. Also, opals are really expensive, so I can't put an opal on top of every single bar for obvious reasons. Nobody wants to pay $200 for a bar of soap. So I found a beautiful and less expensive alternative. I hope you guys like what I kind of did with this design, how I decided to put it together. Even if it doesn't remind you of an opal, I still think it's pretty all the same. It will be available to purchase on March 4th, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time at royaltysoaps.com. And without further ado, let's make some soap. We're gonna be crafting this soap a little bit different today than we normally do. We'll start out mixing everything per usual, but the pouring part is gonna be a little different, as is the mixing of the colorants. So I have here my melted oils of organic RSPO certified palm oil, olive oil, coconut oil, sweet almond oil, and castor oil. And then in this container, I have distilled water mixed with sodium hydroxide, or lye. This is what we call the lye water solution, and this is what we call the base oils. Always pour your lye water solution into your oils and not the other way around. I'm pouring it down my stick blender to help with the air bubbles, and both the lye water solution and the melted oils are very close in temperature at about 75 degrees Fahrenheit. So using my Cuisinart stick blender, I'm going to blend this up on high until just past emulsion. Emulsion being reached, I'm going to move my scale over here. Now you can get this scale from Brambleberry, Wholesale Supplies Plus, you name it. I got it from Amazon. We're going to put one of these buckets that I got from the dollar store on it, and we're going to pour into this bucket right at 25 ounces of our soap batter. Leaving the bucket on the scale, I'm gonna add a little bit of titanium dioxide mixed with water. And the next thing we're gonna do is add in our fragrance oil. Today we're using Icy Shine from Nature's Garden. This was picked specifically for the Opal soap because it sets up just a little bit quickly, which is gonna make our uneven layers really easy to pour. And after blending it in by hand, I'm gonna mix it up for a few seconds with the stick blender. And by a few seconds, I literally mean like 3. Now for the fun part, we are going to add some colorants. I'm choosing to use micas today, mixed with oils, straight into this container. So I'm putting about 1/2 of a milliliter of each color. That was Tahitian Teal from Mad Micas. I really love that colorant. This is True Yellow from TKB Trading. This is Watermelon Pink from Nurture Soap, and Purple Vibrance from Nurture Soap. And then with this popsicle stick, I'm gonna blend these colors right into the white until they achieve the level of pastel I want. This looks about right for the Tahitian Teal. I'm gonna move along to the yellow, and the reason why I'm doing this is because any extra mica that doesn't get mixed in, I want to remain like a strand. Opals have it's just really hard to explain. They're very interesting with the way that the colors look. There seems to be very vibrant strands of color mixed with some pastel strands. It's hard to replicate. And we're ready to pour the first layer. Now to make the layers angled, like a triangle, I'm gonna take 2 bars of my soap to prop up these molds, which also means that the angle is gonna be exactly the same because the soap bars are exactly the same. And then I'm gonna pour down the side like so. Put a little yellow on this side, and then I'm gonna move to this side so that both get yellow. Now the pink is coming through. I'm gonna come up here, and I am slightly moving it so that it's sitting on top of the yellow instead of just completely overtaking it. Now some of the purple is coming through as well. And you could, if you wanted these layers to be really clean, clean up after you pour, make sure that everything looks nice and sharp. But for me personally, because this is replicating a stone, jagged edges is actually preferable. I've gotten down to the very bottom, so I'm gonna scrapey my little containy. Keeping these loaves on an incline, I have here a tea strainer. I got this from IKEA for like $2. I have filled it with Aztec Gold mica from TKB Trading, and I am gonna put a relatively heavy mica line on top of this. I was inspired mainly by the fire opal, and the fire opal has lots of hints of gold that sort of shimmers in the sunlight. So that's what we're trying to do, is get that gold in there. Once again, an opal is definitely hard to replicate, so I'm just trying to take some basic components that I saw in all of my stone research. My grandmother has a fire opal ring and it's beautiful, so I've gotten to view one up close and personal. And I'm gonna scoot these two loaves off to the side just as they are, still propped up, still on an incline, so that this layer can set up as a triangle. And we will mix up the next layer. Repeating the same steps as I did for layer number 1, I am now going to pour much more into layer number 2. You remember I did 25 ounces for the first layer. We're doing close to 60 for the second one. We're going to add our titanium dioxide, blend that in with the stick blender, and add the proper amount of fragrance oil. And we're gonna go in again, this time adding about 1.5 milliliters of our colorant. And let's blend in the color with our popsicle stick. I'm sticking my popsicle stick down a little bit more this time. That way that color gets good and close to the bottom. Alrighty, so let us pour the next layer. I can now take the soap blocks out from underneath this mold, and I'm gonna go ahead and start pouring this second layer in. It is much thicker than the first because I blended it longer with the stick blender, hoping that my colors would be tempted to stay a little more separate, which they have, so I got exactly what I wanted. And now that the soap is tapped down, I'm gonna create a slight angle, just a little swoop right here, so that when we put that next layer of mica on, it kind of licks up the side a little bit. And now that that's done, I can add the mica line on this layer as well. And you can probably see here towards me, I've pulled up a little tiny bit of that first mica line. No big deal, you won't even be able to tell. All right, we've got enough gold mica dusting on there for my liking, so let's mix up that final layer. Luckily, I was able to finish slapping that in there pretty good. And now I'm gonna mix up the soap frosting so that we can start piping the top. I am using the Royalty Soaps piping set today with the large round tip. And in this piping bag, I have put all of the colors that are inside the soap. I mixed them with a little bit of velvet pearl mica so they'd be a little more pastel. And we're just gonna start piping here, right on this one closest to me, and as we go along the different colors will start to come out. Yes, look at those colors in all 4 corners too. You guys seem to really like when we do colored piping like this, so I try to work it into my designs when I can, when it would be a good fit and applicable. Because that looks so nice, I'm gonna go ahead and move to the second one before I fill in that middle. All of the piping is on, so now we are going to add some glitter. These two glitters are from Mad Micas. I know they're in Nurture Spritzers, but those are the only ones I had on hand. One of them is Sparkle Me Gold, and the other one is Sparkle Me Aqua. And these are approved for bath bombs as well, not just cold process and melt and pour soaps. And they're beautiful, you guys. Absolutely stunning. So I am gonna spritz these on. Oh my gosh, and they come out of these sprayers so easy because they are super fine. So I'm just gonna give a general lashing all over the bars. And again, perfect because aqua and gold are both sparkly colors that you see in opals. That is sparkly as crap, you guys. This whole top is very, oh shoot, what is that Japanese word? It means cute. Kenny says it all the time. Now, obviously, I cannot put a real opal on the tops of these soaps. I know in the past I've done banded amethyst and rose quartz, and we're able to source those, but opals are so expensive, these soaps would not be affordable. So I have decided to put some clear tumbled quartz on top instead. It's a lot more affordable option, and it still gives it a very opal-y appearance. Originally, I thought about putting opalite on top, and opalite is a man-made stone. It does not occur naturally in the wild, but I don't know, that just didn't seem, it just didn't seem right. I wanted something that occurred naturally. And since I will probably never make a clear quartz soap, just because cold process probably shouldn't be used for that, I think an actual melt and pour soap base would be much better. I thought this would be the perfect soap to add it to. You can also see through the quartz onto the top of the soap there, and that kind of looks like an opal because of all the shimmer on top. I also technically could have made an opal out of melt and pour and just placed it as an embed on top, but so many of you guys have enjoyed getting a real crystal or gemstone on the top of your soap. I just didn't want to take that element out since we've done it for every single gemstone. I'm gonna spritz the very tops of the stone with a little bit of glitter. I decided to use the blue toned for the top, and I will now spritz the entire soap with rubbing alcohol to seal in all of those sparkles. And that's it, the opal soap is done. Here's the opal soap up close and personal, and now you guys can see that blue and gold shimmer on the sides. It's even more visible in person, I can tell you. So I am gonna let these sit for 18 to 24 hours, and then we will come back and we will cut up the soaps into bars after this quick commercial break. We are back now to cut the opal soap. Okay, that looks about right. So I'm just gonna press down here with my multi-bar cutter Kermit. I'm trying to hold it straight because the piping is really tough. All right, let's pull one of these little soaps out of the middle. Yes, here we go, the opal soap. So you got that really harsh mica line there on the slant. Then you got this one up here that's a little more all over the place. And then you have those pastel colors working together. I think for a cold process soap that has to be opaque and it absolutely can't like do the whole shimmery thing, I'm pretty pleased with it, I have to say, and I'm digging the top. The fragrance smells like Garnier Fructis shampoo, and it is delicious. Caleb is here to ask the question of the day.
Would you rather have the ability to remember everything you've ever seen or heard, or would you rather have the ability to imitate any voice you've ever heard?
No, I'd rather remember everything, I think.
Okay.
I don't care enough about imitation. I am my own work of art. What about you? You'd rather be able to sing like people you've heard, wouldn't you?
I mean, well, you could also be a voice actor.
No thanks. So if you would like to vote in the question of the day, be sure to click the I in the upper right hand corner of the screen. Okay, So do you guys see it? Do you see the opal? You have to let me know down below if you can actually see, like, okay, I see what you're going for there. I see that little bit of gold in there. I see those pastels. Work, girl. All the same, it was really fun to make. It smells amazing, just like the Garnier Fructis shampoo. And tons of you guys love the Glitterati scent. So if you liked it, there you go. Now there's a high top version with that fragrance oil in it. Be sure you do something fun for yourself today, whether that is perusing online to find your new favorite stone, which I did have to do, by the way, because all of the stone soaps that are coming up, I had to do a little bit of research, find out where they come from, and that was honestly truly fascinating. Or finding another item to add to a collection you've already started. Is that something people still do, by the way? I know that that's like kind of a weird question or whatever to throw back in there, but I'm just realizing that maybe there aren't people who collect stamps and stuff anymore. I hope there are. If there's collectors out there, tell me that you exist. Either way, be sure you do something fun for yourself today. I super mean that. Like, I'm serious. Find something, even if it's really little, even if that's, hey moms, I see you out there, going to the bathroom by yourself. Like, shut the door, lock it. And I will see you guys next time. So until then, have an absolutely royal day and bye for now. Meow.